On average, 100,000 vehicles cross the Troop Howell Bridge and the Genesee River below it every day, according to the State Transportation Department. To trace the history of the bridge, we have to go back to the days when the Erie Canal ran where the expressway is now. Jim Dirks gives tours over at the New York State Transportation Museum.
The city wouldn't be here if the canal hadn't been envisioned and provided a way for our mills to ship flour and so on.
The major challenge in rerouting the canal through downtown was getting it across the river.
The Erie Canal was originally built through the city. It came in, and instead of immediately crossing the Genesee, it went up parallel to the Genesee River and then crossed over at a location that was closer to what we could call downtown and at a better place for a foundation, for an aqueduct.
The aqueduct took the canal over the river.
Waterway.
Years later, the road we know as Broad Street was built over the aqueduct. And years after that, the canal was rerouted and drained to make way for a subway.
The subway was laid pretty much in the same route. And at that time, if you wanted to cross the Genesee River, you had either Main Street or Court Street to do that. We had Howell Street ending on this side, and we had Troop Street over on the other. So a vision was developed to connect the two with a bridge.
When the subway was shut down in 1956 and Route 490 was developed, city planners wanted a bridge that would connect Rochester with the interstate and its growing traffic needs. Streetcars and subways were starting to be replaced by buses. Speed was the main incentive. By subway, it would take a half an hour to get from one end of the city to the other. It takes 5 minutes by car.
Once the war was, or World War II was over, a lot of people were looking forward to starting a family and building a home and having an automobile, all of the things of a good life. And rather than settle in the city, these people were able, with their automobiles, to travel out to remote areas.
The need for speed meant that turns needed to be made milder. The Troop Howell Bridge was designed in part with this in mind. The canal had sculpted an S-shaped turn, but the new bridge would need a C-shaped turn to align the cars onto Howell Street and send them over to Troop. In order to make it happen, 3 city blocks on the east bank of the Genesee River would need to be demolished. Howell Street would be no more past South Clinton Avenue, and the notion of passing through Rochester at 40 miles an hour by car would be realized.